Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Shaunneka and today I will be guiding you through an energizing morning yin yoga sequence. So I know yin yoga is a very passive practice. However, there are postures within the yoga realm that are more fiery and more yang-like in nature. So we will be doing those postures today to kind of fire ourselves up so that we have a more energetic start to our day. And we will be holding some of these postures for a little bit longer in length. And of course, doing yin yoga first thing in the morning is so beneficial because the body is still cold and it allows for a little bit of a tighter pull on those ligaments, increasing your mobility, flexibility, and agility over time. So you will not require any props for today's practice unless, of course, you think you might need one. Just have one handy. And I will be drinking my fennel tea this morning for this morning's practice. So grab your tea, grab your blocks, and we will go ahead and get started. Our first posture, of course, will be our intense toe squat. So finding your tabletop position, tucking your toes under, and setting your weight back onto your heels. Shimmying your pinky toe under, and sitting your weight back. Drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and down the back. Gently closing the eyes here. You can drag the fingertips up and down the thighs, or just resting the hands lightly. Notice if you're squeezing your quads and your glutes, allowing them to soften. Doing another one of those rolls, drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and down the back. Making our way into our last few breaths here. You can stay here if you'd like to a little bit deeper. Maybe inchworm your knees closer to the top of the mat. So now you're just on the toes as opposed to the ball of the foot. Last few breaths here. Making these your deepest breaths. Let's take our last two breaths here. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently opening the eyes. Rock forward, plant the palms, untuck the toes. Just hang out here for a moment. Allowing the blood to rush back into the toes. You can rotate the ankles slowly. You can begin to wiggle the toes. Maybe extending one leg back, stretching out through the calf, and the other. So we'll just counter stretch that now. So this time you're pushing your toenails into the floor, sitting your way back onto your heels. You can stay here in hero's pose if this is enough of a stretch for you. Otherwise, bringing your fingertips beside you and gently lifting your knees up off the floor. So maybe your knees come up to here and you stay there. Maybe you can lift your knees a little bit higher for 3, for 2, 1 more here, inhale, and exhale. Drop the knees, rock forward again, untuck the toes, and rotate through the ankles. Next posture will be dragon. So from your tabletop position, stepping your right foot to the top of the mat so that your right foot is to the outside of your right pinky finger. Tuck your left toes under, pick up your left knee, shimmy your left knee back as much as is comfortable for you, and untuck the toes. We'll just hang out here, having your block handy if you decide to use it. So the key here is to really let the belly go. Let the belly be soft. Notice what the jaw is doing. So preparing to come into our last few breaths, you can stay here or turn your right toes towards the top right corner of your mat. Come on to the knife edge or the blade edge and come down onto your forearms. Last few breaths. When you come down onto your forearms, you notice that you're rounding through the spine and maybe your breath becomes a little bit more shallow, then I'd invite you to back off and come back up onto your palms. Last few breaths here. Taking our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale, fill up. And sigh it out. 1 more inhale. And exhale. If you're on your forearms, push into your palms. Tuck your left toes under, pick up your left knee and draw it in a little bit closer. You're then going to straighten that right leg, and we're just going to hang out here for a bit. Keep a slight bend in the knee. You shimmy your hips from side to side. Maybe you sip some tea. And from here, bring that right foot back, or the right knee back to meet the left knee. Repeating dragon on the other side. So taking the left foot this time and stepping it to the top of the mat. So the left foot is to the outside of the left pinky finger. Tuck the right toes under, pick up the right knee, and shimmy it back as much as is comfortable for you. You can untuck the right toes, just hanging out here. So really letting the belly go. I also find it helps if I walk my hands a little bit further away, closer towards the top of the mat. Feels more comfortable on my shoulders. Coming into our last few breaths. If you'd like, you can stay right where you are, or otherwise turning your left toes to the top left corner of your mat and then coming onto the knife edge, blade edge of that foot and coming onto your forearms. Last few breaths. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale here. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Push into the palms. Tuck the right toes under. Draw the right knee in just a little bit to straighten or slightly straighten the left leg. So keeping a bend in that knee, and just find stillness, or maybe you shimmy the hips from side to side. And bringing the left knee around to meet the right. Making our way into frog from here. So I will just demonstrate frog with a block. So in your tabletop position, you're going to open up your knees nice and wide as they can go for you. Once your knees are nice and wide, go ahead and open your feet. So you're bringing your toes and you're lining them up with your knees. So your knees are aligned with your ankles and your toes are pointing in the same direction as your knees. Your feet are flexed. So before you come down, you want to imagine you're pushing back against an imaginary wall and then coming down onto your forearms. And if you have that block handy, you can push it underneath the belly, or you can allow the forehead to rest. I personally like it underneath the belly. And then I kind of use my forearms or my elbows to push forward to send my hips back. So really letting go of any gripping on the inner thighs. Notice how much pressure you're pushing into your elbows. I like to place my thumbs in between my brow bone. We will be here for a little bit longer, really taking this time to settle. Nice long breaths. Remembering that imaginary wall of resistance. If you're using the block, maybe you can consider removing the block now. Nice deep breaths into that tension you're feeling. Making our way into our last few breaths, making any minor adjustments to allow yourself to go just a little bit deeper. Maybe you bring your chest onto the floor without compromising the level of your hips, or staying right where you are. Let's take our last 2 breaths. Inhale. This time open the mouth and sigh it out. One more inhale. And sigh it out. Simply from here, rock forward. Bring your belly and your chest onto the mat. You can leave your legs out wide. Stack palm on palm. And just let the forehead rest here. Just taking it all in. And when you're ready, you can shimmy the legs closed. Maybe shimmy the hips from side to side or bend the knees and gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. From here, we're rolling all the way onto our backs. Draw your knees in towards your chest and gently rock from side to side, massage the low back. We'll take a brief twist with both knees glued together. Drop both knees to the right and gaze to the left. You can cactus your left arm. Bringing the gaze back towards the ceiling, drawing your knees back in and up. Same thing, other side. Dropping both knees to the left this time and gazing over the right arm. Draw your knees back in and up. We'll just come into a double wind relieving pose. So draw your knees in towards your chest. Feel your thighs compress up against your belly. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Wrap your arms around your knees. Grab onto your heels. Squeeze into a nice tight ball. For 3. For 2. Inhale. And exhale, release. Extend your legs out wide. Arms out wide. for your Savasana. Taking these few moments to visualize how you'd like your day to unfold, setting your intention for the day. So feeling free to stay here for as long as you'd like. I hope you enjoyed this morning's practice, and I will see you back here again soon. Have a wonderful day.